I have a confession to make, okay? You're gonna wanna sit down for this. I just slipped and fell into a Persian. I really don't know any other way to say it. God damn it, I can only be attracted to Persians. I also left all of my rings at his house. Wow, that's probably the sluttiest thing I could say without just saying. But like, look, I need my rings back. Oh my goodness, I'm so unwell. First of all, let me just say, I am so exhausted. Can you tell? Look, let's talk. I don't even know what this shot looks like. I wanted the curtains open, but then I don't think that was working. And so then I closed them, and I didn't close them like the right way, so they probably look really crazy, but it's the least of my concerns right now. Yes, I'm wearing a tourist Newport Beach sweatshirt, even though RIP. I don't live in Newport Beach anymore, but close to it. I am so tired. I am unsure what's even real or not. It is a Monday, okay? I went out Friday and Sunday, aka last night, both nights until, I don't know, like 2. I didn't get home last night because I was in LA until like 3 or something. I don't know. And then Saturday, I was just busy all day until like literally 1 a.m. Let's just talk about it because why not? I also feel like my calves are going to be extremely huge in this shot. I'm not really sure. I think my camera's even crooked. Okay, so like why did I think that it was a good idea to go on 2 dates this weekend when I never go on dates, let alone just 2 back to back, let alone the elephant in the fucking room. So the first date was actually supposed to be on Wednesday because the Friday prior, well, I was out with my 2 girlfriends and then we met up with this man who I've met before. That night it was actually such a fucking fun night. So fun. Hello? So fun. We ended up at the bungalow, the Huntington bungalow, to clarify. And it was actually the best DJ ever. It was just such a fucking fun night. So anyway, that man from that night was like, I'm going to take you out on Wednesday. We're going to go to Javier's. And I was like, okay. I was supposed to go out with hello? You're so not okay. We talked like on Sunday and maybe Monday. I don't know. But then we hadn't talked about Javier's. We didn't really talk much because I was busy, whatever. And so I'm like, okay, Tuesday comes around and I'm like, well, now it's not happening unless he like confirms with me today. And then Wednesday afternoon, he FaceTimes me. I didn't answer because I was not expecting it and I was busy. But at that point, I was already like, no, girl. You got to confirm this with me 24 hours in advance. Come on now. Come on. Which he did know, and he apologized, and it was fine. And then he was like, okay, Friday, this time, this place, blah, blah, blah. So that date was moved to Friday. And that was like not a huge deal because like we'll talk about it. It wasn't a huge deal in the sense that like I already know him. I'll keep like details of the date Friday vague, even though I would love to like talk all about it because there were so many funny things. But he actually lives literally right by where I just moved from. Like I could have quite literally crossed a bridge and arrived at his home. And also, who lives right next to him is one of my good girlfriends, Jen. They're neighbors, which is actually how I met him. But it sucks. Well, I'll get to a weird pattern later, but I don't know. Walkie-talkies were involved, along with, shout out, the 2 girls that I met. We ended up going to Rothschild's in in Newport Beach. And there were 2 girls there that watched the podcast. And it was just such a random, no, you bitches would be at Rothschild's. It was so, I don't know, it was so cool and so fun. And I ended up home super late. Also, he doesn't drink, but like it still is just such a time. It's actually more of a good time, obviously, when other people aren't drinking. Shout the fuck out to the 2 girls that I met because it was so hilarious. Okay, I have a confession to make, okay? I have a confession. I don't know if you can see Bug, but she's been by my feet this whole time. She was sitting on my chest, but then I had to stand up to start the camera and she left me. I want to lay down and film this. Also, here's my outfit. I'm wearing a man's shorts, which, okay, back to my confession. You're gonna want to sit down for this. The date that I went on last night was in LA, okay? Fine. The man that I went on a date with is Persian. He's still alive. He's hot. And look, I know if you know anything about me, You're already screaming at your phone or computer or iPad. But there's more, so just hold your screams, please. Not only is he Persian and hot, he is an attorney. Not only is he a hot Persian attorney, he has his own law firm. Look, I think I've seen this film before. In fact, minus the attorney part, I think I've seen 4 different films exactly like this, and none of them ended well. I don't know what to look. I just slipped and fell into a Persian. I really don't know any other way to say it. Also, God bless that man from Friday night doesn't like have social media or like look at it, but like I am so deeply sorry. No, I was gonna say I'm deeply sorry to white men. That's not true. I'm not. But like I was missing a certain pizzazz, okay? It's not even a pizzazz. It's just I God damn it, I can only be attracted to Persians physically, and I understand that like as you get to like someone's soul, you become attracted to them. That's fine. I don't really know that I'm looking for that right now, which is kind of interesting. It's like I've always wanted to find my person, and maybe that's now why I'm like going on dates because I don't care. Or it could be the opposite, and it could be like, bitch, baby needs a daddy. And I actually wasn't referring to myself as baby, but you know, God bless. But I just have yet to. No, something happened because my college boyfriend who I was with for a very long time, over 2 years, was the healthiest, best relationship I've ever been in. Notably, all of my relationships that followed were after being trafficked, also after moving to LA. So they were all with people that lived either in LA or Orange County, whatever. But he was a white man. So something happened. I don't know. I will say, I mean, I didn't go out of my way to find either of these people, okay? Also, something just felt right about the Persian attorney. And you know what? Now that I'm saying it out loud, yeah, bitch, you were thinking with your clitoris, okay? Don't think with your clitoris, especially if you're me. I don't know who this is advice for. Well, this is advice for everyone, actually. Men think with their dick all the time. Women, I don't think we typically think with our clitoris, okay? But in this, God, guys, I don't know what to say. I don't want to defend myself. I'm honestly just trying to talk through why. I just had to restart my camera, and I'm pretty sure the lighting is ass, everything is ass. It fits the vibe of this episode, okay? By the way, this episode was just going to be like a brain dump of the notes on my phone, and like that's it because I have had a lot to say. Also, again, I was going to film this on Friday, but then I didn't have time before my date because I ended up having to leave like super early to get there, whatever. So now there's like so much more lore that has happened over the weekend. And what was I saying? Oh, yes. I don't want to come on here and defend myself, okay? I'm sorry. My apology video is like me apologizing for going on a date with a Persian. I don't know, okay? The first date on Friday, like that just made sense because we hit it off the weekend prior. We had already had, I probably wrote this in my fucking notes. Oh, it's 4:44 p.m. I'm not kidding. For the past week straight, maybe longer, the only times I've looked at the clock have been 111, 222, 333, 444, and 555. All of those. Oh, and at nighttime, 1111. Never the morning one, but I'm not kidding. Maybe like the first day that it happened, when I consistently looked at, I think the first day when it happened, I was 1111, 1212, 111, 222, 333. No, it skipped 2. 444. And then I remember I was like getting in my elevator at 5:55, and I like had the craziest full body chills because I was like, oh my God, the amount of angel numbers today. And then that genuinely continued, not 11 and 12 every day, but 1 through 5 every single day. And I'm not going to say that means that my angels are, affirming that the Persian date was right, but I'm not going to say that. Anyway, so yeah, the first date made sense because we had already gone out the weekend prior. We got along really well. We do get along really well. Actually, I was going to hang out with him again on Saturday, but I couldn't. I had too much going on. Now that I'm thinking about it, I haven't replied to him at all, but he did call me today and also text me. But one thing about me is I'm a one-track... Nope, that's not what I wanted to say. I have tunnel vision, and the only tunnels that I know how to look down are Persian ones. And then that date kind of happened out of the blue. I actually talked to him on the phone in the bathroom of my Friday night date because he called me. I was on my date, and then at like 1 a.m., this man, he was out of town. I was like, when are you back? And he was like, Sunday, and I'm taking you out. And I don't know what I said, but I just remember he replied and said, reservations are made. And I sent a voice memo, and I was like, are you just saying it's like 1 a.m. So like, did you actually just make a reservation? Don't play with me like that. And then he sent me the open table invitation for the reservation that was made on Sunday night at the Santa Monica Proper rooftop. And so then I was like, okay, well, yes, I love a man that just does all of the things. I need that. So I couldn't say no. We had a lovely time. I'm wearing his shorts at the moment. I wore them home last night and his shirt. I had to leave early this morning. Oh my God, that's the other thing. I got home at like 2 because I had to charge my car. I was gonna get home with 2 miles left, and that would not work because I had to leave at like 5 a.m. to drive to San Diego for, you don't care. So I literally got like, I don't even think I got any sleep because I tried to sleep, but I just couldn't. Was I going somewhere with that? But then when I got home this afternoon, I put the shorts back on because they're just really comfy. Okay. I also left all of my rings at his house. Wow, that's probably the sluttiest thing I could say without just saying, but like, look, I need my rings back. That's all I'll say about that. I relapsed. I'm having flashbacks to the beginning of this podcast. Oh my God. I wonder, I'm going to try and find, that's got to be one of the first episodes where I said something similar to what I'm currently saying. But it is different this time. No, it is. I think this is more of just a fun thing. Whereas before, when I met my ex, we kind of like both knew immediately, like, oh, this is going to be a thing. Oh, I forgot the part where he said he knows my ex. And I'm like, oh, you know of him? I don't even know how it got brought. I don't even think, I mean, I would not have brought up my ex randomly, so he must have. Could be the fact I have the fucking tattoo on my neck still that I had like 3 sessions to remove and didn't continue. And then he's like, yeah, I know of him, whatever. Then later in the night, he's like, said something about like liking his sister. And I'm like, what? You know his sister? And then he's like, yeah, I've like hung out with him. I've been around him. I've been in the same rooms with him. We're like acquainted. I'm like taking my rings off, like, you're about to get murdered. Someone's gonna murder you. But we love a bold man. He's also an Aries. God, again, I don't think he would ever watch this, but if he did, that would be pretty, honestly, flattering, probably. But he's an Aries, and you guys know I've always said, I know I'm supposed to be with an Aries. I love Aries energy from a man. And I, like, Aries men are not common. At least they don't come across my desk often, Persian ones especially. In fact, I typically date Virgos and Leos, which I don't know if that's just, again, like there's a lot of Virgos out there and there's a lot of Leos out there. My last 4 exes, it was Virgo, Leo. And he's like super Aries. He's like Aries rising, Aries Venus, Sag. He's got some Sag in there. He's just all fire and I'm all air. Anyway, it was cute. It was a good time. We had a good time. And now I'm going to go into my brain dump because I can feel your guys' judgment, okay? I haven't told my mom yet that I went on a date with a Persian because that's like telling your mom that you've relapsed on drugs. And that seems like a really sad thing to do. You know what I did do, though, is text my dad on Friday and say, you're going to be really happy that I'm going on a date tonight and it's not with a Persian. And how could I break his heart by then, 24 hours later, no. So this stays between us, just you and me, okay? Which brings me back to the pattern and the weird thing that always happens. When I first moved to LA, I immediately started dating someone. You guys probably know the story maybe I've only talked about it like on YouTube or a few, because I feel like we did a lot of YouTube videos together, but he was a photographer at one of my first shoots when I moved to LA. He lived in like basically like Temecula. It's called Murrieta, which is like super south, okay? I lived in Redondo Beach. And then, yes, I dated people that lived in LA while I also lived in LA. But then I live in West Hollywood, and then I'm dating my ex who lives also in Orange County now. What? No, I live in Orange County now. At the time I didn't. He always lived in Orange County. And so it was constantly like a hour and a half. Well, coming home was like a 3-hour ordeal. And it was like, good God, I'm not doing this OC to LA to OC thing ever again. Then I decided to move to Newport after we had already broken up, for literally not because of him. Obviously, I already had wanted to move to Newport Laguna, and then I was single for over a year. And then I started dating my recent ex who, while I lived in Newport, he lives in LA. So then I'm finding myself doing the fucking LA to OC thing again. This is the worst. Also, that was also just the worst relationship of my entire life, if you can believe it. And so then I'm on the date Friday, and I'm like, it's just so annoying because we could have walked across the bridge and been at each other's houses. But then I just moved, and now I'm like a 20-minute drive. Not terrible, obviously, but whatever. And then last night, as I'm on my way to Westwood. I'm like, I can't do this. I guess maybe I'll know. It'll be a sign when I meet someone organically, because that's the only way I will do things. I find out that they live, within 20 minutes of me. Or they're like, hey, I'm going to move. Actually, no, they're like, hey, I'm going to buy you a house, and then I'm going to buy me a house close by. Not too close, but close. Anyway, what was I? Yeah, just the LA to OC of it all. Driving home late, which I would have just stayed, but again, I had to be in freaking San Diego so early this morning. Okay, let's go to my notes now. Get this brain dump going. Oh, Tana Mojo has a new podcast, and first of all, this photo that I'm going to put in is interesting. This is a photo of, I guess she has a podcast also with Trisha Paytas. Tana, in this photo, I looked up like when this started because I was like, did I copy this somehow? Nope. My podcast started 2023. I have those photos from 2023. This was end of 2024 or maybe even early 2025. Anyway, this is the photo. She has the exact same pink lips phone that I have and is making the exact same face. Sure, probably a coincidence, but now Tana has her own podcast. And I found out via my Instagram DMs and someone sending me them recording their TV. I hate that I have to keep getting up to restart the camera. Anyway, I got someone recording their TV with their phone of Tana saying this, and I'll put the clip in.
The name Tangent is already taken by another fellow podcaster. And it's like, I'm not going to take a podcast name that's already taken. You know what I mean?
It's funny because like, bitch, you know me. And also it's just like, that's just the Trisha Paytas effect, because I'm sure she probably knows, I would guess, that I don't fuck with Trisha Paytas because, well, I don't know. My ex got out of jail for beating me. And then a couple weeks later, she's fucking him on OnlyFans, knowing what he did and promoting him, and also knowing me. Like, she knew me. She knew me. She knew him. Makes sense because I hear she then like went on to abuse her current husband physically. But then I just see clips of her popping up, and I guess she's like uncanceled now and like doing things in life, which of course I'm happy for people and their opportunities, but it's like to see a clip of her talking about Taylor Frankie Paul and the abuse and everything. Oh God, I don't think she's a good person. I don't buy it, any of it. I believe that I'm sure she has worked on herself and figured out how to not be so reactive. But I think she was 32 when it happened, so couldn't even tell you because I'm not there yet, but I'm 31 and I sure as shit would not be I wouldn't be talking to, I wouldn't be following, I wouldn't be even slightly interacting with someone who was just in jail and then charged for domestic abuse. What is it? Robbery, vandalism, I can't remember. There were 6 things and then he ended up getting charged with 3 of them, whatever. But like, I wouldn't put their penis inside me and film it and promote them and then talk shit about me. That's a pretty wild thing to do. So I can imagine why Tana didn't want to say my name. I don't talk about other people online. I don't talk about my peers. I certainly haven't spoken about Trisha Paytas since whenever the last video I made, which was like in 2020. And I was actually very gracious, and I was like, maybe she didn't know. Give her the benefit. No, because then she went on to talk shit about me in like a random ass video with her sister. Anywho, the next thing I have in my notes. Dude, I must have, again, I think I went like a week and a half without recording, so that's why there's so much. But I don't even remember saying this. It said, men always get annoyed when I take a while to respond, and I'm so over it. I have a life. That was all caps. And men are just not the center of it. Also, I have ADHD, so I have to lock in on any given task I'm doing. I can't just easily respond and move on. It's a whole fucking event and ordeal. Yes. Also, I don't know who I was saying this about, because the 2 men that I just spent the beginning of the episode telling you about are not like this. In fact, they are similar to me in the sense that we're never like around our phones, and we will call each other randomly and like text back when we can. I mean, they're both better than me, but I like it a lot. It's nice. So I don't remember who I was talking to about this or who I was saying this about. Oh, there's this one guy that I've been like, I wouldn't say I'm talking to him, and he doesn't live in the same state. We're pen pals, I will say, loosely. Anytime I like respond to him, he always has to be like, oh, I had to wait 3 to 7 business days, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. The next thing, which honestly, considering the weekend I just had and the weekend that I had before this, which was really fun, I love this. It says, and I wrote this before last weekend for sure. It says living in enlightenment but wanting normalcy and entertainment too, which is something that I was battling with because I don't really want to get into it. It's just the point in your journey as a highly, I don't even want to use the word spiritual, so I won't, but I don't know. I guess it's just all about balance. And I was having a day where I was like, everything's not okay in the 3D, but like in my inner world, everything's okay. And I'm at peace and I'm content with myself, connected spiritually. But then I was like, but I do miss, like, I don't know, even just like what I just talked about with Trisha. Like I wouldn't consider that gossip because that's an actual thing that happened. But sometimes I just want to talk about things and like, I don't know, and when I'm not pregnant, like I want to go out and like drink occasionally and not feel like, I don't know. But I will say, I feel like I've achieved more of a balance since I wrote that. In fact, I may have leaned too hard because I'm exhausted right now. But normally it would be fine to literally go out 2 out of 3 nights, but you know, there's a lot going on with my body right now, so I think that's also why I'm so exhausted. I mean, God, my 20s, I was riding around and getting it all the time. And I was fine. Okay, this was post last weekend, pre this weekend. I said, I forgot just how underrated a good makeout is. Just a makeout. I hadn't had one since, I don't know, September. And even then, no, I would say August. Just a makeout. Just a good makeout. The word good really does need to be there, I will say. A good makeout is underrated. Period. Also, hormones are so wild because why am I catatonic at like, I don't know, 11:17 a.m. and then I'm swatching paint at 1:02 p.m. and sobbing, like happy tears. And then I see a caterpillar, literally, I don't even know if it was caterpillar. I don't know what the fuck these things are that we have here where I live, but they look like pipe cleaners that move around and they're like bright ass purple and they have them at the pool here. But I saw one of those. And so I was like terrified, but then also crying, which I wouldn't normally just cry. And then like horny as shit at 8 p.m. You know, these hormones are insane. It's like I literally don't know what I'm going to get at any given moment, and nor do the people around me. I left my walkie-talkie in my car. See, I have these walkie-talkies that I had got for me and Jen because we lived so close, but I guess they still work because they work for like a 35-mile radius or something. But man from Friday has the walkie-talkie. He's her neighbor though, so I guess he can give it to her. But I wish I had it here so I could like be like, "What's up, girl? Over." Oh, I wrote, what is my face shape? I've never known my face shape. I can't figure it out. It doesn't make sense. You would think it would be heart, but my jaw is just as wide as my cheekbones. In fact, maybe even wider on one side. No, I don't know. Maybe it is. But it's not square because someone told me my face shape. I know it's asymmetrical. Okay, I know my jaw on the left side can't be tamed. I mean, maybe it could if I could get Botox, but I'm not gonna do that. Someone tell me my face shape, please, and thank you. Oh. Next, I just wrote writing book, yes, because everyone kept asking me, wait, are you writing a book? Because I've posted a couple of things. Actually, I've just reposted stories, but it was kind of clear based on who was posting the stories. Yes, that is happening. Yes, there is a deal. Yes, it's happening fast because there is a deal. And it happened so fucking fast, actually. And it's not even the book that I thought I would write first in life. It's just wild. And that's all I'll say about that right now. But yes, I added this one this morning. I thought condoms were a myth. Look, I don't literally mean it. Like, I thought they were mythological, I was going to say creatures, objects. You know, I didn't think they were metaphorical. I've seen a condom. I know what they are. However, I did think it was a myth that someone would ever propose. Should I stop talking? Well, if you're like me and no one has ever been like, we should probably use a condom, right? If someone does that, don't say, wait, I thought condoms were a myth. And then when they're like, wait, what are you talking about? Don't be like, oh my God. Don't be like, this is a 1 in a million thing for me right now. Well, like a 1 in 200 thing for me. Don't say all the thoughts that you have out loud, I suppose, as I'm holding this microphone saying this to you. And then like 3 minutes later, when it hit them what I said, they were like, wait, does that mean that did you say 1 in 200? Then just be like, no, I was exaggerating. Maybe I shouldn't podcast while I'm like so tired that I'm not functioning, because I don't really know if it was irresponsible what I just said. But I do figure that my audience is older, so also this is all just for entertainment. None of that happened. Of course, condoms are not a myth. Everyone uses them. It's the cool thing to do. No, because my friends and I talk about it and whatever. I'm gonna stop. I think my camera knew that I should stop because it did just stop recording, and also is about to die. So there's only actually 2 things left on my list. So that means by next week, there will probably be, 10 more. But it does feel good to have a little brain dump. And also, I'm glad that I confessed to you that I relapsed. It's not even that I literally tripped and fell onto a Persian. It wasn't even a relapse. It just what's important is that I'm aware. No, that's actually not what's important because I was aware. What's more important is to be aware and when there's a red flag, treat it as such. And I'm going to just take that forward with me on my journey. And I'm really confident in my ability to do that now. In fact, I think I'm pretty forced to do that now, and as I should be. I mean, no chances for anyone. You don't get a second chance, although I do need my rings back. So if he happens to do something that is a red flag before I see him next, I will unfortunately have to get my rings back and give him his clothes back, I think that's all for today. I can't even get up to turn the camera off. I've just been staring and not blinking.